So, welcome everyone. We got another Sunday class during football, so that will be that's why it's gonna be a little short because I want to watch football. But I'm just gonna be going over the recent higher time frame analysis and how you could have done higher time frame analysis in the past few weeks. Okay, so and I'll kind of show you like some of my narratives and outlooks I had and how they differed, how they changed, how I changed based off the price action, etc. So I think it's gonna be very beneficial because I was wrong at one point. Okay, and I'll show you why I was wrong. But I'll show you how I kind of knew when I was wrong and when to kind of switch. Um, so that's gonna be That's gonna be it today. Again, if you guys can't hear me, make sure to check your output. And if you can't hear me, tell everyone who can't hear me to check their output. And yes, this will be on YouTube with a face cam. So again, as we get started, don't forget to use there's a Apex 71% off sale. Obviously it's I don't know why or not it's been 90% off sales, but copy yourself a few accounts, practice the iFVG model, and so that's the housekeeping. So I'm gonna actually get started. So without cheating, if you already saw my Twitter, do not answer this. What do you see here without me saying anything? What do you see? What do you see? Keep in mind, this is the 4-hour time frame. Do not cheat. Okay, where's the iFVG? Price rejecting that. You see price rejecting this fair value gap? There's only one person who got it right. Oh, the big one. Okay, you see a bearish trend. Yep. What do you see with price action now? What do you see with price action now? Do you see potential long in the making? Yes, I agree. Strategisch. That is a MMSM. All right. Type 1 if you think short. Type 2 if you think long. And again, do not answer if you already know the answer. So type 1 if you think short, 2 if you think long. Okay. Why are you guys typing? Why are most people typing 2? Yeah. Okay. So, yes, exactly, Marie. All right. So, again, for everyone who can't see on YouTube, but these are all the replies so far. Yeah, close over the fair value gap, we go long. So I'm just going to draw it now real quick. All right. What do you think? What do you think? What are we thinking here, guys? Long or short? Long, yes, because we clearly closed above, okay? And I know people are going to be like, well, what about these equal lows? Okay. Are these truly equal lows? Look, what is this right here? Is this truly an equal low? Why? Yeah, this was the liquidity. This was the purge of liquidity. So do we need another purge of liquidity here? Do we technically need? Yeah, exactly. And this is a rejection block, okay? This is a rejection block because this was the purge of liquidity. Does everyone understand why this is a rejection block? It's because here we purged, here we bounce off it. Okay, and I don't teach rejection blocks, but that's a clear one. And there's probably, if I had to guess, maybe some SMT. I'm not even sure what SMT you would use this with, but probably an SMT, I'm guessing. So, let's see what happens. Oh, whoa. So everyone who said yes for the long, good job. Again, if I showed you this chart right here, okay, let's say I showed you this chart right here, and I didn't tell you the time frame, would your answer change depending on the time frame we got? Like if this was the 15-second, would you still say long, or would you say something totally different? Yeah, exactly. No matter what time, even if this is the 10 millisecond time frame, this is still a long setup, right? We're still sweeping liquidity. Like, it doesn't matter what time frame it's on. So we're going to apply that in our higher time frame analysis. Now, what's the only way I turn bearish on Doge now on this chart? What's the only way I turn bearish? And this is honestly already probably bearish, but what is more confirmation that I'm going to turn bearish? Yeah, if we close below, not this IFVG, if we close below this one, I'll be bearish. Now, is this a really good IFVG setup right here? Yes or no? Yeah, not really, because this is way too much. Like, we have to wait so long. This is way too much. The RR sucks, but it still applies. And I honestly think we're already bearish from here, because I think the higher time frame's already in kind of a downtrend here. And we're delivering from this for value gap as well. So I already think it is bearish, but for more confirmation, if you just use IFVGs, you'd have to wait for this one to close. Okay. So again, if we close below here somehow, then I would expect us to go back to this low here. And again, the reason why is because we swept liquidity up here. It's a major liquidity. We're delivering from here. And obviously, yeah, that's what I'd expect. But the RR would just suck, because your stop would have to go way up here, because we could theoretically reject this one or reject this one. So the RR would just want to be there. So what you could do is, if the RR is bad, what do you do? If it's a setup like this and it's a market maker sell model, what would you do? Yeah, you go to a lower time frame and see if you can make the better RR, get better RR. Does that make sense? Again, this is the RR in the higher time frame, but theoretically, are people actually going to enter based off this? Probably not. You're going to go in like the 5 minute and enter out the 5 minute. And again, if I were to go to the 5 minute, you could get way better RR. Okay, so like, let's say I'm bearish and I want to go to lower time frame here. Well, I'll wait for this to break, and I'll get way better RR. And then let's say I want to target that low that I want to target before. See how much better the RR gets? And obviously, this is a hindsight and hasn't actually hit. But again, just because I'm doing higher time frame analysis does not mean we enter based off the higher time frame. Okay, so you can see this is clearly a 688 RR play. Again, if it completes, you could retire and move to Cancun, but we'll see. All right, so let's see. So back to the hourly. So that's just a little example of Doge. Okay, now again, it doesn't matter what I'm going over, whether it be NQ, ES. Okay, I could be going over lean hog for all I care about. All right, it doesn't matter what I'm going over. Okay, I could literally type in orange juice. Let's see orange juice here. All right, and go to futures. Okay, let's look at orange juice real quick. So orange juice, again, orange juice is inside of a weekly fair value gap, and we're clearly reacting nicely to it. So I think this is going to be bullish. Now, what would be better confirmation that orange juice truly is bullish, and we know for a fact we're going to go back up to these highs? Yeah, if we close above this. And would you guys say this is pretty obvious? Yeah, I would too. So, and this would be good because orange juice would be delivering off of weekly fair value gap, and we sweep these internal lows. Oops, and we sweep these internal lows inside of this fair value gap. So again, just another example where you could go to lower time frame and you could look for a long here, but I want to do that because this is trash. But again, if you're swinging orange juice futures and you wanted to swing along, wait till this breaks and then maybe buy a retest or whatever, and then you could go up here. Again, if this is NQ, I would wait for this to break and then I go to lower time frame and then I look for a lower time frame long here. But obviously the orange juice lower time frame sucks. So again, do you see how I'm just again, I have two fair value gaps marked here. They're pretty obvious. I'm not marking anything else. Okay, I really care about these fair value gaps and this high. That's all I care about here. Now, what would make orange juice more bearish here? Yeah, if we inverse this fair value gap, okay, so if I see price close under this, okay, then obviously I'd be more bearish. And what would I be looking for as liquidity pool? Well, maybe intermediate term low, maybe equal lows. And the first thing that kind of jumps out at me is we have 3 equal lows here. So again, higher time frame analysis on OJ right now is if we close below this, well then I'm gonna want these lows, and if we close above this, I'm gonna want all-time highs again. So that's kind of what I'm looking on orange juice. But it doesn't matter what I'm looking at because no one here trades orange juice, I'm guessing. So again, it's just an example. So let's go to NQ. All right. So NQ, all right. If we go to a couple weeks ago, all right. I'm gonna go to the daily chart. All right. At this point in time, did we truly know if we're gonna go to buy side here or sell side here? Did we truly know? Okay, the only person who knew is who? Who's the only person who knew at this time? Okay, no. Okay, the only person who knew at this time was my dead dog. Okay, and he can see the market in the future because he's in heaven. Okay, so he knows what's gonna happen. But other than that, no one else could see. Okay, and oh wait, and hindsight Tommy can see this too, or hindsight Harry. So hindsight Harry, the guy in the YouTube comments. Okay, he saw this coming. Okay, everyone under my YouTube saying, "Oh, I knew this was gonna happen." Their name is something along the lines of hindsight Harry. Okay, they saw this coming as well. Okay, can't forget about them. But did we truly know? Okay, what was gonna happen here? No. Now, what is higher time frame confirmation that we're gonna know? Well, it depends on are we gonna get a big candle and close under these fair value gaps or not? Okay, and obviously there's a lot here. Right, so if I know there's a lot here, what am I gonna do if I know there's a lot here? Yeah, I'm gonna go to the weekly. Okay, now if I go to the weekly, there's one fair value gap here. So the only way I know that we're gonna go to this low is if what? Yeah, we have to close below it. Now, could I guess and say, oh, I think we're gonna hit this low anyways? Yeah, I could, but is there a true confirmation? No, because we need to close below. And if you play the next handle, we never close below. So was this ever truly bearish on the weekly? Yeah, no, it wasn't. Okay, so at that point in time, a couple weeks ago, we didn't really know. Now, I would argue that even here, no one knew because half the timeline on Twitter, they all said, "Oh, we're gonna reject this daily breaker." Okay, did we ever reject this? No, we didn't. I mean, there will be people who will, and okay, so here's what I'm gonna say: the people who do know here and do say bullish, they're not gonna be right 100% of the time. There's probably people in chat who are like, "Oh, I am bullish here. I know we're gonna bounce here," but they're not. I guarantee you, their bias isn't right every time. The reason my bias is right most of the time is because I'm not gonna guess here. I'm gonna wait till this daily fair value gaps inverse, and then I'll know, and that's why my win rate's so high because now that we inversed it, I know. Like I don't have to guess. I like okay, we're not gonna reject this. So I wait, and then I still get a how many points move was this? Like we still get almost 400 points. So I still get in 400 points. But again, there's people on the timeline who said, "Oh, we're bearish. We're gonna reject this daily breaker," and there's also people who knew we weren't gonna reject the daily breaker. Okay, there's probably people in chat now who are bearish. There's probably people in chat right now who are bullish. Okay, that's fine. Okay, you're not gonna be right every time if you don't wait for these confirmation little things. But over the past few weeks, I mean, for me, it wasn't really obvious we're going to go to the high, and it wasn't really obvious we're going to go to low. It was never obvious we're going to go to low. I mean, I was kind of leaning towards that when I saw these two candles because it started to look like a market maker sell model. But I really couldn't short because the weekly never closed below. And when I kind of saw that, I'm like, okay, well, this isn't bearish yet. So I was kind of waiting. And then we got this candle, and that's when I went to kind of scout mode, right, where I don't really have a bias, and I kind of just play the lower time frame, what I see. And then we got this candle. I still wasn't totally sure. And then we got this candle. I'm like, okay, we're probably going to go back to the highs. Right, now I know the bias, right? As before, I didn't really know the bias here. I didn't know the bias here. I knew the lower time frame bias and I could still catch 100-point moves, and I did alert in my Discord. I like there's a few days where I alerted like what 50 to 80-point moves, and I still could anticipate these big moves. But did I truly know if we're gonna go to the daily high or low? No. Okay, I really waited till this kind of broke, and now it broke. Now I know we're gonna go up here, and people were like, "Well, you're catching the move late." Okay, no, I'm not. There's literally 50, 100. Okay, there's 950, 050, 150. There's still 200 points we can catch, and if you catch the retrace here off the CPI wick, okay, there's still like what 300. There's like 500 points you can catch here. So this is a 500-point bias, and I understand half the people probably bottom ticked it down here. I understand people probably shorted up here. This worked and these got wrecked. Okay, and these guys who thought we're gonna short here, and the people who thought we're gonna reject this breaker, they're gonna be right next time, and these guys are gonna be wrong. Okay, it's just that's why I don't guess. Okay, I don't like to. Right, it's gonna flip flop next time. I guarantee it. Okay, the people who are right about one thing are gonna be wrong the next time. All right, I'm gonna be right most of the time because I'm not trying to guess and I'm not trying to bottom tick anything. I'm just waiting for the true confirmation of okay, this is bearish, fair value gaps inverse. I'm gonna go to the high. Okay, so like I was kind of leaning bearish here, and I thought we're gonna go to this low, but I wasn't sure. The weekly didn't close, and the weekly never closed. And I think I said that in my index commentary one day. I'm like, okay, if we close below the weekly, we're gonna go to this low, and we never did. So again, you're gonna see see how even though it looks like I'm catching the move late, I'm not actually catching the move late because we still have 500 more points to go, give or take. Right, that's what most people don't understand. They don't like to do the bias I do because they're like, well, I didn't get it done here. I am missing out on 500 more points. Okay, would you rather get 500 points and be right every time, or would you rather get 1,000 points and be wrong half the time? I mean, there's going to be guys in here who are going to say, oh, 1,000 points and be wrong sometimes because their R is going to be better. But mentally, for most people in here, I'm sure you want to win more, okay, mentally speaking. So I'm assuming most of you are going to want the 500 points and be right most of the time. So, again, you're going to see, like, you can still trade this, obviously. You just have to be way, way more patient. One second, I'm just checking my tickets. So there's that. And again, if we go to the 4 hour, okay, what's kind of another thing that we kind of got that kind of said we were bullish? Does anyone know? I think it's gonna be easier if I go here. What are a few other signs? So we know from the daily, and we're inversing the daily, we were bullish, but what's a few other signs according to this chart? Yeah, the SMT. So we have this SMT here. Okay, that's another thing I use for bias. And again, I mean, this SMT is important, but let me just make this big. The SMT is important, but it's kind of a confirmation. What is really truly when do I really truly know the bias here? Yeah, when we get the 4 hour inverse. This is really when I truly knew. So just like how in the daily, I just showed you guys this, just how in the daily, remember how I said in the daily I was kind of 50-50 at that one spot, and then I finally knew? Same thing down here. When I'm in replay mode here, I'm like let's say right here, okay? I'm like, okay, well, we have an SMT here. We're kind of reacting to it, but do I truly know with 99% certainty that we're going to go back to the highs unless we inverse this? Not really. Okay, I'm 80% sure because the SMT, but it's really the iFVG that brings it home for me. Okay, that's what brings it home for me personally. It might be different for you guys, but this is like, okay, this is like we have an SMT, we're bouncing off from overblock, blah, blah, blah. But it's not confirmed from me, at least it doesn't give me conviction fully, okay, until we inverse it. And when we do, that's when my conviction and my light bulb and everything goes off in my head. I'm like, okay, now I know for sure this is bullish. And that's just what it is for me. It might be something different for you guys, but I don't really truly know here until this is inversed. And we finally inverse it, and we go to the high immediately. Okay, and again, the SMT helps a lot. There's other things that help, like where ES is bouncing from here. Like, these things definitely do help, and they do give me confirmation, but like, it's really the iFVG, and then it's like, oh, well, we also have an SMT that might be give me even, let's say I have like 80 conviction. So let's say there's a scale of 100, and let's say we get the SMT. I now have 50 conviction to go to the highs. Let's say we get the iFVG. Okay, well, now we have an SMT and an iFVG. Now I have 90 conviction to go to the highs. Okay, let's say both NQ and ES inverses. Now I have 99 conviction to go to the highs. And it just keeps getting higher and higher based off of different confluences we get. And I mean, for me, I think the main thing that I determine bias is SMT. So I'll do iFVGs first, SMTs, and 3. I mean, I'll just say FVGs. So like, the third thing that's not an FVG here that I know why the bias is bullish is because we're delivering from this fair value gap. If we're delivering from the middle of nowhere here, it's not as meaningful. So, I mean, these are really the 3 things I use to find bias. Sometimes order blocks, but I'm not going to get into that. I think these are the 3 main ones. The definition of SMT, it's just when, oh God. Sorry, I'm just checking the score. Dude, how do they soar? All right. So again, it's like how do I explain this good? It's like you have a Pokemon card, and in your Pokemon card, it's like 80 damage, 20 damage, 50 damage. In order to kill the opponent, or if you want to kill Pikachu or whatever, whoever you're battling, your damage goes up over time. Same thing in the market. Like, the more we get, if we have like an SMT and an iFVG and a fair value, like, it goes up tremendously. Okay, and that's where my conviction all comes from. Okay. So I mean, yeah. Price inverse to smaller daily iFVG on January 8th. Was this one too small to use for bias? Let me check. On the 8-hour chart. January 8th. On ES. Yeah, Gabriel, we're not talking about Pokemon here. Sorry, it was just an example. Yeah, you can the definition of SMT is from Morgs. Read that. Well, January 8th, I do not see any inverse fair value gaps here. Maybe I'm blind. NQ. This is the NQ 8-hour chart. Here, January 8th. We did not inverse anything here. Are you talking about this one right here? Wait, the daily chart? Oh, this one right here. Okay. I talk about this in my course a little bit. All this fair value gap tells me is that we're 100% going to go to this fair value gap. That's all that tells me. Do I know what's going to happen in this fair value gap? No. So this tells me we're going to go to here. And when we inversed here, we already hit here. So this one didn't matter for me at this point. Okay, does that make sense? I don't really use market structure shifts. No, Yasin. So all this getting broken tells me is we should go to this high. Now, can I try to be right and early and say, oh, I think it's going to go this high too? Yes, but I'll be less accurate. Does that make sense? I mean, yes, of course I could say, oh, because price broke goes, I think we're going to go here. It's a lot less accurate, though, than if we were to break here, then retrace, then I know we're going to go up to this high. Okay. It's not that there's too many fair value gaps. It's just, again, if price was right here, and let's say we closed above it here, I wouldn't know we're bullish until probably here. And that's all I would know we're bullish for. So I could still catch, like, what, a 200 point move here. I could still catch a 150, 200 point move here because I know we're bullish, but if price closes above and hits this fair value gap, can I really use that to my advantage? Not really. It's not gonna help me too much. Could I guess and be like, oh well, because this is inverse, we're gonna go to this high? Yes, I could, but logically speaking, it's like, oh, what if we reject here? Okay, so I'd rather wait for this bigger, more obvious one to break, especially on the daily. It was really the most obvious in the daily, and a lot more people are going to be using the daily chart than the 8-hour chart, just so you know. So that's why I use the daily one in this example, and you can see the bodies hold perfectly. So, show us how it looks like when bias isn't clean. Okay, that's a good example. So I'll show you guys what it looks like when bias isn't clean. I mean, the bias on NQ has been clean, but let me go to like a random ticker. I'll see if we can find one. I'm pretty sure this is clean. Yeah, it's clean. Maybe CL. Okay, yeah. This is, yeah, this is perfect. Let's see if I can find a worse one. What's a good ticker I could go on? Okay, no, this is clean. USD CAD. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, to me, this would be. See, this is clean to me. Okay, this is very bearish to me because we created a daily fair value if it's the only one here, and we're delivering from here. So, like, to me, this is bearish to me. My target would be this low. So yeah, this is clean. This is not unclean at all. The weekly, same thing. The weekly, we're still. Again, I know if we broke this, we already broke this fair value gap, and we're delivering from weekly. So I know we should go back down to at least this weekly fair value gap right here, and then we'll see what happens. But I mean, this right now is very, very bearish to me. Yeah, DXY is kind of unclean. So DXY, it's not that it's not clean. It's just that DXY has been inside of a bearish fair value gap here and a bullish one right here. So this is where it's not unclean. It's just, it's really 50-50. It's a clean 50-50. And by what I mean by a clean 50-50 is we're in two key spots. These are very obvious and they're very good to use for a bias. But until we break either this bearish one or this bullish fair value gap, it's not the most confident bias here. Okay. Again, an unclean. I mean, if we go to orange juice right now, this is unclean to me. Like, unclean meaning like we're not delivering from anything, we're not touching anything, we're not taking any highs, lows. Like, I don't know. That's just, it's hard to explain. I mean, let me see if I can find another one. Okay, this is perfect. This is unclean to me. No, it's not. Okay, this was unclean to me. This is perfect. Okay, Euro last week was unclean. And it was because we were not creating any obvious fair value gaps. And when we were, like, we kept hitting the low. So we created one here. Okay. And we broke it and we hit the low. Like, that's just, we can't use it now. And then we made this one. It's tiny, but we hit the high. Can't use that anymore. And we weren't taking out any major highs and lows, right? We were in between two buy sides and sell sides. So we hit these equal highs here. And then it finally hit here. And we did become a little cleaner. But you can see right here, we were in between these. Price had no kind of eagerness to run anywhere. This example, like, this is just unclean to me because there was nothing obvious about this at all. Yeah, let me check GBP/USD. So, and then this is really unclean to me too. And even right now, this is unclean to me because are we actually delivering off of anything here in the hourly or in the 4-hour? Are we delivering off of anything here? Yes or no? Yeah, no, we're not, right? So it's kind of unclean to me. What would make this more clean to me is if we broke this daily, right? I'd definitely be bullish if this daily broke. But until then, I mean, we're not really delivering off anything. I like how we swept these lows, so I am kind of leaning bullish on this already. So I think this is going to be buy side for me, but this is a little unclean now until we kind of break this, okay? I'm gonna actually alert this in my thing. So this is very bullish to me. And I know we haven't inversed this yet, but the fact that we swept these lows makes this really bullish. Again, the confirmation for me here would be if we close above this daily fair value gap, but I don't like trading forex anyway, so. And then any more last minute questions? I'll answer like 2, then I gotta go. Can you have a look at NQ and ES the upcoming week? There's not really much to say about NQ and ES. They're definitely, until we get any major structure break, these are definitely bullish. I mean, we're at a spot where I'm not gonna size heavy if I long at all because we're just too high. So, how does an SMT decide bullish or bearish? An SMT at the lows has to be bullish, and an SMT at the highs has to be bearish. Okay, you can never get a bearish SMT at the lows. It always has to be at the highs. All right. I'm gonna make a video on that, Cam. How do you know which fair value gap is likely to hold? It sounds like you've not watched ICT 2022 mentorship. I mean, someone showed me this earlier. Wait, not XRP. XLM maybe? Someone showed me a really... I have an SMT video on my YouTube. I have like 2 of them. What does NQ? Guys, what does NQ look like to you in the following week? What, like, how do you not know? Like, well, look at the weekly candle from last week. What does this look like? Is it really that difficult? We're just going straight up. So until I see anything change, like, the only way I'll turn bearish is if this breaks, but that's literally it. Like, I have to be bullish on this. So until that breaks, this is definitely bullish. All right, last question. So if I get an iFVG that's about to be formed in M5, and let's say the 5-minute iFVG gets broken with a 1-minute candle. No. You have to wait. 5-minute iFVG has to be closed under by a 5-minute candle. You can't mix and match time frames. How do I journal my trades? I would recommend using Notion. Notion's good. I enter as soon as the candle closes above the fair value gap, unless it's a really big close and the RR sucks. Then I'll wait for a retracement. And no, I don't wait for a market structure shift. The iFVG is a market structure shift. That is important, Charlie, because it's going to mean Forex is going to be better to trade. I do not journal. I used to journal, but I don't really find it helpful to me anymore. So, let me check gold. If you're newer, I would journal. I used to journal all the time. Gold is trash right now. See, gold is an example of unclean here. I mean, maybe not. Never mind. We're delivering out of this. So, I mean, the fact that we're delivering out of this, but we already hit buy side in the higher time frame from like ages ago, that just makes it unclean. Because if we hit buy side, but we're still holding a bullish fair value gap, like, how do you really know the bias? I mean, I would be a lot more confident if we were to break this, and then I'd be really bearish to like way down here probably. But until that happens, this is not clean. So gold is good in iFVG. I learned an iFVG playing gold last YouTube stream I did. So, all right, that's gonna be it for now. I've done a checklist on determining buys. You're gonna have to go to my YouTube, but yeah, I'll see you guys later. Oh yeah, premium members, make sure to do the homework I posted. For my premium members, I posted a homework assignment, so please do that. In the homework tab. All right, peace.